Welcome to the 2019 Start Strong Cooking, Feeding, and More update. This is a video for SNAP-Ed educators who took the training in 2018. In this presentation, you will hear an overview of what happened in 2018, as well as hear what has been updated for 2019. In 2018, 16 SNAP-Ed educators were trained in Start Strong. Over 80 providers have participated in at least one Start Strong training, impacting over 500 children in their care. As a result, providers are more confident in their cooking skills, role model healthy eating more often, and provide nutrition information to their families at least once a year. Several childcare providers have completed a 3-month follow-up survey, which indicated they are planning meals more often and using a wider variety of foods. One provider wrote, "I am now serving beets and turnips. Before the training, I just served canned vegetables. What a big change to go from canned vegetables to fresh vegetables such as turnips." We learned several things in our first year. Recruitment was harder than anticipated as providers were hesitant to commit to attending 6 trainings. SNAP-Ed educators experimented with a variety of different ways to deliver Start Strong in order to overcome this barrier. Several SNAP-Ed educators had success offering one training and then asking them if they would be interested in attending more. Thus, in 2019, we have new options for how you can work with childcare providers without having to have them commit to attending 6 trainings. The Start Strong lessons are now divided up differently in 2019. Because the bulk of the lessons focus on cooking skills, the 4 cooking lessons are now our core lessons. The Feeding Basics and Ready Set Play lessons are now bonus lessons. Dividing the lessons a bit differently will allow SNAP-Ed educators to be flexible in how they best offer Start Strong in their community. The planning team has come up with several different options as to how you can deliver SNAP-Ed in your community. Let's look at these options more closely. In option 1, you would teach the 4 core cooking lessons. Providers would sign up to attend all 4 lessons as a cohort. In this option, you could work with a local childcare agency to actively recruit providers to attend this session. Because you know they will be attending all 4 sessions, participants will complete a pre, post, and 3-month evaluation. Here's how this might look in your community. You have gotten to know the county child care licensing person, along with the area field representatives for one of the CACFP sponsors. They are excited that you are offering cooking classes locally. You invite providers to partner with SNAP-Ed by attending these 4 free trainings. The child care agencies also encourage providers to attend. An advantage of this option is providers really get to know each other over the course of 4 trainings. This will enhance their peer sharing. Option 2 works well if you aren't as connected to the child care agencies in your community. In this option, you offer the first core lesson, Ready, Set, Cook. At the end of the training, you ask if providers would be interested in attending more cooking trainings and gather information from them as to a good time of year to offer the trainings and if they would like them offered weekly, monthly, or over the course of a year. If there is interest, you can offer the remaining 3 trainings. An advantage of this option is offering a one-time class allows providers to see what the training is about without a long-term commitment. Most providers really enjoy the first training and are excited to attend more. SNAP-Ed educators who have used this option have found the word of mouth is probably one of the best ways to promote the trainings. Oftentimes, a provider at your training will know about local childcare provider Facebook pages or email lists that they would be willing to share the promotional information with for future trainings. A challenge with this option is that the providers that attend each training will vary, so it is harder to build on the relationships that happen if they attend all 4 trainings as a cohort. Because attendance will vary, providers just complete a post-session evaluation for this option. In option 3, you offer the bonus lesson, Feeding Basics. This option works well to pique interest or to get your foot in the door as a childcare trainer in your area. At the end of the training, you can gather interest for future cooking trainings. Option 3 also works well if you are asked by an agency, such as SHIP, to present to a larger group of childcare providers in a qualifying area. Since this is a one-time training, providers complete a post-session evaluation. Option 4 is basically the same as option 3, but the topic is Ready, Set, Play. This training also works well for general recruitment and large groups. This option works especially well as a follow-up training to the cooking trainings. SNAP-Ed educators who teach the Start Strong cooking trainings have found providers often ask what other trainings Extension has. offering Ready Set Play at a later time provides childcare providers with additional training while also gives a SNAP-Ed educator another opportunity to connect with the providers and support them in long-term behavior change. In summary, there are now different options as to how you can deliver Start Strong in your community. Work with your Start Strong EE, Mary or Kelly, to figure out which option would work best in your community. The good news is the bulk of the Start Strong curriculum has remained the same. There have, however, been a few updates that we will now go over. Over the summer, a curriculum designer reviewed Start Strong. She suggested adding letters to the curriculum to facilitate discussion. You can see an example here. Each lesson now contains a letter that you can read to participants to help facilitate discussion rather than just asking a question. SNAP-Ed educators who taught Start Strong in the spring requested updating knife skill handouts to go along with the curriculum. Cutting guides were developed to go along with the Start Strong trainings. This is an example of how your input as a SNAP-Ed educator can help to improve the curriculum. If you have other suggestions for Start Strong, please contact the Start Strong planning team. The USDA has updated the Nutrition Nibbles handouts for parents. The updated handouts are included for each lesson and can be found on the S Drive. In 2018, a few of the Energizers were not from the University of Minnesota Extension. SNAP-Ed educators who taught the curriculum found the non-extension Energizers did not work as well. Thus, in 2019, each lesson contains an Energizer that was developed by the University of Minnesota Extension. In 2018, SNAP-Ed educators ordered the Nutrition Wellness Tips for Young Children Handbook from Team Nutrition. This publication is no longer available from Team Nutrition as the CACFP information in the handbook was outdated. Because this was a USDA handout and considered public domain, Extension was able to remove the outdated information and keep the helpful information. Since not all of the handbook pages were used in the Start Strong trainings, the decision was made to just include and update the handouts that were specifically used in the training. These handouts are now included in each individual lesson rather than having participants flip to a certain page at the beginning of the binder. This will allow for better flow when teaching. The Child Care Team Nutrition resources, such as the Grow It, Try It, Like It curriculum and Discover My Plate, are available to view online or print by anyone. Extension is no longer able to order hard copies of these Team Nutrition resources, as you must now indicate when you order that you are part of CACFP or a child care provider who is enrolled in CACFP. Child care providers can opt in for ongoing text messages. In the past year, more child care text messages have been added to the text messaging file. You may be wondering how you can keep track of all these changes. The updated Lessons at a Glance will show you what to include in each lesson. We've also updated the Start Strong folder in the S Drive. The 2019 folder contains all the updated information. The 2018 folder is still available as a reference, but you will want to use the 2019 folder from here forward. I encourage you to take a few minutes and click through the folder to see what has changed. I'll walk you through the basics now. The first folder is the lesson folder. The first item in the lesson folder is the participant handouts. You can print handouts individually or print them all as one document. The second item is trainer materials to print each week. These are items that are not included as participant handouts, things such as recipes to use in the cooking stations, cooking challenges for them to take home, certificates, and evaluations. The third item is trainer materials to print as needed. These are items that are mainly used during activities. Once you print them, you should be able to use them again in future trainings without having to reprint. This would include things such as the Start Strong letters, labels, and teaching props. Finally, there is the trainer lesson plan. Within the lesson plan, you will find a few additions to make it easier for you to use. Suggested times have been added, and the supplies needed are now broken into the activity in which they are used. The lesson plan is now dated January 2019 to make it easy for you to know you have the right version. Any additional changes made to the lesson plan during 2019, such as correcting typos or adding a great idea suggested by a SNAP-Ed educator, will still be found in the lesson plan in red. This will allow you to print the lesson plan once and review it online before teaching the lesson for any last-minute changes. The next folder is the session feedback forms. Lessons 1 through 4, the core cooking lessons, all use the same form. The bonus lessons, Feeding Basics and Ready Set Play, each have a separate feedback form as the topic area is different. The Participant Binder Only for Printing folder contains only the information needed for printing and setting up the participant manual. Binders are only necessary if you are teaching the series to a cohort of child care providers. The final folder contains background information for you as the SNAP-Ed educator. Although we do not need to know the specifics about CACFP, this folder contains a variety of fact sheets on CACFP. I encourage you to take a few minutes to review these, as it will give you a better understanding of CACFP and some of their food recommendations and requirements. We continue to keep adding to Start Strong. Here are some things that are in progress. We are currently working on a promotional video that you can share with agencies such as your local child care licensing person or your local CACFP field representative to help them get a better understanding of what Start Strong is about and what you can offer. We are also developing grab-and-go lessons for child care providers. These lessons will go along with the training so that they can have some activities that they can bring back to support nutrition education with their children. We've also revised the Ready Set Play lesson, and this will include the materials that you received in December, and we'll have instructions on how to use those different materials when teaching this lesson. We're also looking at different ways that we can reach out to the friend, family, and neighbor providers. And finally, what are some different options that we can use with our providers of diverse cultures? We are also adapting Start Strong to an online version, so child care providers who are not able to attend an in-person class can take it online. In the fall of 2019, Mary Schrader and Kelly Kunkel will be teaching the core cooking lessons in 2 to 3 communities. This will allow us the opportunity to gather the data needed, so Start Strong will hopefully become an evidence-based curriculum within the National SNAP-Ed Toolkit. This will also allow us the opportunity to compare the online training to the in-person training. Because we work with the University of Minnesota Extension, we are approved to teach our curriculum to child care providers, but we are not able to post our trainings on the Develop Child Care Professional Development site. The Minnesota Department of Human Services is revising its trainer types. It is hoped that once the new trainer types roll out in 2020, SNAP-Ed educators will be able to list our trainings on the Develop website. Thank you for the work you have done or plan to do to help child care providers save time and money when preparing food for young children. Please take a few minutes to explore the updated materials on the S-Drive. In the next few weeks, think about which option might work best in your community. Connect with Mary Schrader or Kelly Kunkel as they can help you brainstorm ideas and answer any questions you may have.